Well, listeners, you know that we love our Aussie music here on Subculture, and today we've got something very special for you. Perth punk band The Leeches have got a brand new EP coming out, and we thought, hey, we want to know a little bit more about this EP because, of course, it's got the great cover on it of Let's Go Away, but we thought we want to know a little bit more, so we thought we would get Benny from Leeches on the phone right now. Benny, welcome to the program, mate.
Welcome to me. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Good. So, Benny, tell us a little bit about Leeches, because, of course, we know you from a couple of other musical projects. Tell us a little bit about Leeches and how you guys got together.
Yeah, sure. So Leeches has been around for, I don't know how many years now, for 2012, I think we started,
Yep.
2011, something like that. And we got together, we were all in a couple of different bands, and I was travelling and came back to Perth. I was living in Melbourne at the time, and I came back here and had a bunch of songs written and wrote to Glennie and Lee in. And I guess the rest is history. We sort of hit the ground running and put a couple of releases out pretty early on and did a bit of touring and stuff. And that's I guess how it came about.
Then you've got this great sound. It's such a unique sound. It's a really modern sound, but at the same time you can hear the influences there from the early punk of the 1980s as well. Is that something that you guys have been working on over the years to get that kind of unique sound?
Yeah, look, I guess so. I think initially it was just, all designed to be pretty, fast and fun and all that sort of stuff, and I guess slightly abrasive. Which a lot of those bands in that kind of genre or this sort of style of music are really well known for. That was, I guess, what we were chasing. And I think as a bit of time went on, we definitely have worked out what works for us. And we've sort of, between the three of us, we've got a little bit of uniqueness in our playing that maybe sort of forms the overall sound. I would say, and sort of similar interests or influences. So, yeah, it wasn't sort of, totally, I guess heavily discussed when we started, but we sort of knew what we were looking for, if that makes sense.
Definitely, and you guys are known for your great live shows. How tough were the couple of years of the pandemic for you guys, knowing that you guys love playing live so much?
Yeah, sure. Look, I guess, here in Perth, we certainly didn't cop it as bad as, some of our friends' bands over east and all that sort of stuff. We were really lucky in that when we started, none of those had come along yet, so we sort of got a little bit of traction, sort of, going over to Indonesia and over east and all these sorts of things. And a lot of touring bands were coming through Perth, so we were lucky enough to play with some pretty big bands, and I think that really helped us early on. So I guess we were lucky there to sort of get that little window. And then when the pandemic came along, I mean, we'd sort of put a couple of releases out, and we were doing less and less shows, really, and then Glennie actually moved to Sydney. So we sort of slowed down a little bit, and I'm in another couple of musical projects, and they got really busy. So timing-wise, I wouldn't say we were right in the middle of the thick of things as they were maybe a few years before the pandemic. So it didn't really hit us hugely, I guess as bad as others. So yeah, not too bad, and I guess we're at the other end of it now. So yeah, I can't whinge compared to some of our other friends that had really hard times with it.
Yeah, you mentioned touring Indonesia there. I work for a newspaper outside of radio based in Thailand, so I know a little bit about the Thai metal and punk scene. What's the Indonesian alternative music scene like?
Look, it's incredible. We sort of had no idea, and I think a lot of people don't really in Australia sort of realise how passionate they are about it over there. It's amazing, especially like the young kids. There's some shows. We played one in a place called Bandung, in like an abandoned shopping centre, and you sort of walk up the disused escalator, and there's sort of 800 kids there or whatever, and kids with bones through their noses and tattoos and smoking cigarettes, and they're like 11 and 12 years old. It was really, really mind blowing to sort of see how into it they are. That it's really quite crazy. So it's huge over there. It's massive, and we went there twice. We'd love to go back. We're still friends with a lot of the people that we met over there, and we've stayed in touch. And that was a while ago now. But everything, like the art, their culture, everything that goes into it is just sort of really really cool to see. I think a lot of it sort of stems from like anything to do with this style of music, oppression, and sort of feeling that they utilize that sort of music as like a vehicle to express themselves,
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like you said, one of the things I love about the scene overseas is quite often you'll be walking along and you'll just hear music coming out of a club or a bar or something like that, and you'll realize, hey, it's actually a metal bar, or it's a punk bar. It's like, it's not like what it is here. That's what I've found as well.
Yeah, totally, man. Like I remember we got in a cab one night, and I think it was maybe from the airport to go to one of the gigs, and the cab driver, we were driving along, and I think the radio was on, and it was maybe, I don't know, Pink or something like that, some sort of commercial sort of pop radio station. And he said, "Oh, you guys," it was about musical instruments with us. He said, "Oh, you guys in a band, and what are you into?" And we said, "Oh, we're like a punk band, thrash sort of punk band." And he's like, "Oh, wow!" And he's like, "Oh, I'll put some music on." And he put Napalm Death on, and he was right into it, and it was like, wow, just you would never ever pick it, but they absolutely love it.
Now, tell us a little bit about this brand new EP. It's called Periodically Fits. Tell us a little bit about the EP, how it's come together, and what we can expect to hear on it, because I understood you guys recorded it on a 40-degree day.
Yes, well, I was thinking of it actually, which is nothing sort of rare for Perth, but we recorded that a little while ago now. I can't remember the number of years ago, but it was actually quite a while back, and it sat for a while. We weren't sure what we were going to do with it, and it sat, and as I say, with Glennie moving over to Sydney, we weren't sure. We sort of wanted to wait a while till we could do some gigs to sort of release it,
Yeah.
I think that was the goal. And then things slowed down a little bit for us. We got busy with other things, so we sort of put it on the back burner. Spoke to another label over in Melbourne a couple of years ago now about putting it out, but that didn't eventuate, and so we sort of forgot about it for a while, and then we got together again recently. We did some shows with the Hard-Ons, and we thought, well, let's get it happening again. We'd actually pressed it at that stage on vinyl. So Cheer Squad came along, who we've known for a long time now, and as I say, my other musical projects are sort of involved with those guys as well, and they agreed to put it out. So it came out. So it's out and about now, and it's a great. I think it's a great little release. It's if you're into that kind of thing, it's kind of got everything that you would like about it. It's fast and fun, and it's got a Wipers cover on there as well, which I hope we did a halfway decent job of. But we're really really quite proud of it, and it's sort of, I think in some ways, because it's been such a long time in between releases for us, and I don't know what number we're up to now, maybe 6 or 7 releases or something, but it's given us like a little bit of a spark again,
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that cover, of course. It's called Let's Go Away, and I understand that was a track that you guys were playing live back in about 2013 when you recorded it. Why was that the cover that you guys wanted to do for this album?
Look, that came from Lee, our drummer. I guess he really probably more so introduced me and Glenn to Wipers all those years ago, and we'd known about them. Obviously, years ago, when I was a teenager, I remember their cover of Nirvana covering "Return of the Rat."
Yep.
Years ago, I didn't even know it was a Wipers song. I didn't even know who the Wipers were. So it wasn't until I was sort of like late 20s or whenever it was that we sort of got to know about them. But yeah, he really digs that song, and we just, I think we just kind of started playing it just for a bit of fun at gigs, just to throw a cover in and just to, I don't know, just kind of, to entertain ourselves or whatever. But I think as the more we played it, the more we sort of realised that it sounds a lot like us, as well as, the original version of the song. So we thought, look, we'll record it. It was never really intentionally meant to sort of be for a release as such, but when we did those batch of songs, we put it on there because we thought, well, this is really cool, and will, I guess, excite some of the people that are into that kind of music.
Definitely. Now, I'm looking at a photo right now of, and I love what you guys have called this, the limited edition numbered Piss Yellow 7-inch vinyl. It looks so good, and I know a lot of our listeners are part of what we call the vinyl revolution here on this show. It looks amazing. How did you guys come up with that idea for this? Because it looks stunning.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit vulgar, isn't it? Piss Yellow. Yeah, look, I'm going to give full credit to Glennie there, our bass player. I'm pretty certain that was his idea, and it totally sounds like something he would come up with. Naughty Glenn, we call him. I'm pretty sure he came up with that idea. I didn't even know about it, like until he sent through like the proof of or the draft of the artwork. I was like, okay, Piss Yellow, okay, no worries. So it's that's definitely been a bit of a topic of conversation with the other few interviews I've been doing lately. Yeah, something I forgot about until it gets raised. But it looks great. I think it fits in really well with the front and back cover artwork. Who's also a friend of ours from Indonesia, Wiro Satan. Great artist. He did that art. So, yeah, I think something to tie in with that. But it's a great little package.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to start a bodily fluid section of my vinyl collection because I've got a few blood-splattered ones, and I've got a really rare one now from a heavy metal band in South America who claim that it's supposed to be semen and blood mixed together on their vinyl. So
I'm really glad you sort of said that word out loud, because I was thinking to myself, how many bodily fluids can we sort of come up with? And I thought, I don't want to let my mind go there, but that's incredible. That's I don't know how COVID safe all this stuff is going to be, but it's a great idea. The blood splattered one, I've heard of that before. I've heard of people sort of
yeah,
that's very metal, isn't it?
There's one that's really rare, and I can't remember the name of the band, but I think it came out in the 1980s. That's supposed to be a snot splatter, like a 80s punk band as well in the United States did one that's supposed to be a snot splatter. So, yeah, there's a few bodily fluid ones out there.
Wow, I had no idea. I'm going to have to Google this safely Google this when I get off the phone. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, you wonder how diluted it is, if you're putting blood or whatever other bodily fluid in there and you're pressing, 300-500 copies.
Yeah.
Someone's got to sit there and blow their nose for a long time.
Exactly. Well, mate, we got to move away from that. What do you guys got? What do you guys got planned for the future now with this coming out? And where can people grab a copy of the vinyl if they want to grab it?
Yeah, sure. So Cheer Squad Records have it on their website or their Bandcamp. You can always message us on our pages or whatnot on the socials. But yeah, just head to the Cheer Squad Records and Tapes site. You can grab a copy there. It's limited as well. I can't remember how many copies. I don't think it's many that we pressed. And once they're gone, they're gone. But basically all the releases we've done over the years have been pretty small numbers, and they've all gone. So that was always the idea, is to not have records collecting dust under our bed. So if you're going to grab one, I'd grab one sort of sooner rather than later. I think, I don't know, maybe half of them have gone already or something like that. So well worth jumping onto them.
Definitely.
And the second part of your question, what have we got coming up and what to expect? We don't know yet. We're sort of we're waiting to see what happens towards the end of the year with a couple of shows that we're talking about with a band that might be touring. I won't say too much about that, but might be something going on there. I've got my own recording studio called Pink House Studios here in Perth, and we just did 3 songs, 3 Leeches songs in there maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago actually, and we've got a singer from one of our favourite Australian punk bands singing on one of the songs soon, so that's all in the pipeline. But yeah, a few things, shows I'm not too sure about yet, but definitely there's going to be more new music, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait for that. But in the meantime, we're going to take a listen to Let's Go Away right now on Subculture After Dark. So, Benny, what would you like to say to everybody out there, not only before they listen to this track, but before they go out and grab a copy of the vinyl as well?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. If you're going to buy one, that's awesome. If anyone who shows any interest in what we're doing, we always really, really appreciate it, it's awesome, talking to you guys and talking to everybody who's sort of got a copy already or who's going to get a copy. We'd love to, get in touch with us and tell us what you think. And yeah, we appreciate the support.
Definitely. Well, anytime, mate. And right now on Subculture After Dark, we are going to play Leeches, Let's Go Away.